Pisces. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for May of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Pisces, I am so excited to leap right into it because guess what? You are entering into a money luck year. It's the fantastic thing that happens when Jupiter moves into Aries. This is special for you if you're a Pisces rising. It has some truth to it if you're a Pisces sun, but if you're a Pisces rising, you really might want to get a reading to discover exactly when this starts for you personally, not just in the broad category of your horoscope. This month might be the right time to kick off this money luck year with the appropriate actions. If you want a reading like that, you can find a description. You can find a link for it in the YouTube description below. So here is what I'm talking about. Jupiter is traveling along through your first house, which has been fantastic. I have to say, like having your first house be lit up by Jupiter, that is great already. So you've kind of been charismatic in the last year. You might have noticed that people are giving you your own way a little bit more than usual. Super nice. But as Jupiter moves on into your second house, starting right here around after the first third of May, around the 11th, as Jupiter passes along through your second house, it's going to begin this journey this year and then finish it in next year. But as Jupiter does this, what you're going to find is that opportunities to bring more money towards you are going to become rather thick on the ground. Maybe even more opportunities than you can really utilize. That does not suck. And so, being ready with your giant butterfly net to catch those opportunities and leaping into action to do something about them is a really great thing to do during the time when Jupiter is in this house. Now, the next thing I want to tell you about is that Ceres is going to leave Gemini and enter into Cancer right about here in the middle of the month, around the 16th. Ceres is she governs the second house, and so her themes are similar to the second house themes, which is to say, good stewardship of your physical life, like your body, and your routines and habits for your health, also your eating and your finances. So she's concerned with all those things. She's moving into the fifth house, and I kind of want to warn you not to gamble during this transit. If you are like a habitual gambler and you've got a method and it works for you, then I wouldn't warn you off. But if you feel the urge to wager your hard-earned money, especially in an emotionally impulsive way, I would definitely caution you about that during this transit. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about before turning this over to Julia is that Juno is traveling along through Pisces, and she'll be in Pisces for the rest of the year. She's going to go retrograde soon, so I won't say a whole lot right now, and I'll say more in the next month or two. But traveling along through your first house, Juno is bringing a lot of benefit to your committed relationships, especially if you're in a dating mode and you're looking to come off as partnerable. So this is a really great transit for that. Hey, Julia. So Mercury, Venus, and Mars are up to a bunch of stuff this month. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Hey there, Pisces. Lots going on with those guys this month. I'll start with Mercury because Mercury is going retrograde. It happens about 3 times a year, but it can be kind of an annoying cycle of miscommunications and reviews. So it's kind of good to know about it before it starts. So Mercury starts the month in your 4th house. This is the house of your home, where you physically live, whether that's an apartment or a single family unit. The 4th house also rules your family as well as the people you live with. And it can have some associations with your past as well. So with Mercury in the fourth house, Mercury being the planet of communication and mentation, your mind could be very preoccupied with your housing situation. You know, maybe you're thinking about how to make your home more satisfying. Maybe you're thinking about moving, but your mind is very preoccupied on your home or even your family too. Now on May 10th, Mercury goes retrograde in this house. So that means that you might face some miscommunications with your family members or the people you live with, or you might be rethinking some of your domestic strategies. Maybe you're kind of reviewing, should I live here? Should I not live here? Do I really want to move here? Do I want to buy a home? Do I want to just rent? You know, but you might be kind of going over and reviewing a lot of those fourth house matters. Now you might get a little bit of clarity on the 21st, because that's when we're having Lesser Epiphany Day. So Lesser Epiphany Day is when Mercury is retrograding, going backwards, and exactly conjoins the sun. And when that happens, we can have some clarity and some insights into that retrograde cycle. So again, the Epiphany Day is happening in your fourth house. So you might then get a little bit more clarity about your family situation or about your housing situation too. Now, Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, you know, pretty early in the month, you know, the first day she's in your first house of self, making you look a little extra attractive and pleasing. But then by May 2nd, she enters your second house of finance. And Jamie's been talking about that. So the second house rules the money that you earn, either your salary or through a business that you're running. And the second house has a lot to do with your possessions, you know, your luggage, your jewelry, your collectibles, your furniture, your stuff. And with Venus in the second house, you're getting a little extra money luck, which is always helpful in life. So with Venus in the second, you might find ways to earn a little bit more at work or through your job. You also might acquire some wonderful possessions, maybe even Venus related stuff. That could be fashionable outfits and beauty related items. That could be art, because Venus rules art, and luxury in general. So that's definitely going to feel pretty nice. Then by May 28th, Venus enters your third house of communication and siblings. Well, you'll be getting along well with your brothers and sisters and having a little bit of luck in your ability to communicate well with others. Then we finally have Mars. Mars is the planet of action and activity. Wherever we got Mars is where we're very driven, but Mars can come with his conflicts and frustrations as well. So Mars starts the month in your first house of self. And for the first 24 days of the month, this is a high energy period for Pisces. You know, Pisces has ups and downs in general with your energy level, but Mars in the first house is going to be all ups that month. And Mars in the first house can be wonderful to help you sort of assert your boundaries more, which I know isn't necessarily a Pisces specialty. So having a little bit of extra fiery Mars in there can be very constructive. Now, the caution of Mars in the first house is Mars can sometimes have a tendency to make mountains out of molehills, and sometimes can overly assert itself. So as long as you're being somewhat aware and knowing when to kind of rein in those ponies when you have to be, it can be a good energetic month where you can actually get a lot of stuff done and maybe start a good workout routine. Then by May 24th, Mars enters your second house, and Venus will have they overlap a few days, but then Venus will leave it. And when Mars is in the second house, there can be some frustrations over money. Sometimes Mars is a bit conflict prone, so you can sometimes run into disagreements with others over it. But Mars in the second house can be very good at being driven to earn money too. So yeah, some cautions, but can definitely be constructive as well.
Well, I want to speak to the two moons that are going on this month. The first one is happening on the 15th, and it's an eclipse. It's an eclipse in Scorpio, and it's a lunar eclipse. And any one of those three things would add to its intensity, but having them all happen at once is really multiplying it. So this particular moon is falling in your ninth house, which is a house of meaning. It is a house of travel, multiculturalism, growth and expansion, most particularly expanding your mind, perhaps through higher education. So this particular moon, spanning the ninth house and the third house, you're going to feel it a lot in the arena of communication, your big voice and your small voice. And so I would say under this moon, it's important not to broadcast really big negative emotions. And especially if you are in school, like you're at university or you're in college or, going for a higher learning program, I think that this moon is a caution in terms of getting you into upsets in your program, maybe with an advisor or with fellow students or professors. So don't let that, blow it for you. Then the next moon I want to tell you about is on the 30th. It is a new moon in Gemini, which falls in your fourth house of home and family, heritage and roots. And a new moon usually signifies new beginnings. This particular one we're calling truthful words help set relationship boundaries. And so you may experience this happening quite a bit in your home life, in your relationships with family members, children, if you have any, or even just a partner, or even a housemate that you live with. In your home life, you may find that this particular moon being characterized by a lot of truth saying and assertion, which can be a really positive infusion to your home life. So enjoy that. And then the last thing I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. And that happens right about here, May 21st, which is also the Mercury Epiphanies, Lesser Epiphany Day that Julia was speaking to. So that happens on the same day, coincidentally, as the beginning of the season of Gemini. This is a very stimulating season. And because Pisces, you kind of enjoy having stimulation in your home, having interesting conversations and new ideas popping up. I think that this is going to bring some real exciting ideas to your home life, and really just in time for that new moon that comes a few days later. The season of Gemini happens as the sun travels along through your fourth house for about 30 days. And it might be a good time to even host events, have people coming over to your house for that book reading club or that meetup that you've been wanting to host ever since COVID started, you haven't gotten around to. This could be a good time for a new beginning like that. All right. Well, Pisces, we enjoyed making this horoscope for you. You can always find good stuff on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you could find more news about the moons that we reported, also about that Jupiter transit on the monthly forecast page. And you can also find your other horoscope. If Pisces is your sun sign, you could find your rising sign horoscope on our website. And if you are moved to take a class or get a reading, you can find that good stuff there too. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.